Respect from others begins in the mirror. The truth is, the way you perceive yourself sets the tone for how the world will treat you. If you constantly question your worth, apologize for your existence, or wait for others to validate you, you unintentionally communicate that you don't believe in your own value. And here's the reality. People, especially men, will mirror back what you project. When you hold yourself in high regard, when you decide that your time, your energy, and your presence are valuable, you give others no choice but to honor that truth. Think about the difference between someone who enters a room quietly shrinking into the background versus someone who steps in with calm assurance. The energy shifts immediately. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's an inner knowing that you are enough as you are. And when a woman embodies that, it's magnetic. Men, whether consciously or unconsciously, pick up on that self-assurance and respond with respect. They recognize that she is not seeking scraps of attention, but instead already knows her value. That kind of presence cannot be ignored. Self-worth isn't built overnight. It comes from daily choices, the decision to no longer tolerate what drains you, the courage to say no when something doesn't align, the discipline to take care of your mind and body because you believe you're worth the effort. Every time you choose yourself, you reinforce the message, I am valuable. Respect yourself first, and you won't have to demand respect from others. It will flow naturally. Men don't deeply respect women who shrink, beg, or settle. They respect women who live in alignment with their worth. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity. When you stop measuring yourself by comparisons and start standing firm in your identity, you radiate a strength that is undeniable. That's the first and most important rule. Before asking for respect, embody it. Carry it in your posture, your words, your choices, because the world will always reflect the level of worth you've already claimed within. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks that you hold the keys to. They are the invisible lines that define how others can engage with you. Without them, you leave yourself open to being walked over, drained, or disrespected. Men don't respect women who say yes to everything, who tolerate what hurts them, or who remain silent when their needs are dismissed. Respect grows when a woman makes it clear through her words and her actions that she honors herself enough to protect her peace, her time, and her energy. Many people fear boundaries because they think it makes them seem harsh, unkind, or difficult. But boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about teaching people how to treat you. When you calmly state what is acceptable and what is not, you're not being cold, you're being clear. And clarity is powerful. A woman who knows where her lines are is a woman who commands respect because she has already decided that her dignity is non-negotiable. Men naturally respect women who are firm yet fair. If you let everything slide, if you compromise your values to keep the peace, you might gain temporary approval, but you lose long-term respect. A boundary says, I value myself enough to walk away from anything that does not honor me. That kind of strength doesn't push good men away, it draws them closer. Because deep down, men admire a woman who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. Boundaries also create freedom. They protect your emotional space so you can show up as your best self without resentment or exhaustion. They separate what is yours to carry and what is not. And when you hold firm to them, people quickly learn that you cannot be manipulated, guilted, or controlled. That's the essence of respect. You've shown that your life is yours to direct. So remember this. Boundaries are not selfish, they are sacred. They are proof that you understand your worth. A woman who draws them without apology earns not just attention, but admiration. And men, whether they agree with your limits or not, will respect you more for having them than for pretending they don't matter. True strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in the quiet moments when chaos is swirling all around you. Grace under pressure is one of the most magnetic qualities a woman can embody. Life will test you, people will provoke you, and circumstances will not always unfold in your favor. But how you respond in those moments defines the level of respect you earn. Men deeply respect women who can remain steady when everything else feels unsteady. Women who don't let anger, fear, or insecurity dictate their reactions, but instead carry themselves with composure. Grace isn't weakness. It doesn't mean you allow yourself to be mistreated or that you hide your feelings. It means you've cultivated the wisdom to know when to respond, when to stay silent, and when to walk away. A woman who can keep her head high in the middle of conflict, who doesn't crumble under pressure, radiates a quiet power that cannot be denied. Men notice that. They may not always voice it, but they deeply admire it because anyone can lose their cool. Not everyone can stand firm and calm in the storm. Think about it. Anger often diminishes respect, while composure elevates it. When you choose grace over retaliation, you are showing that you are not controlled by the situation, but rather you are in control of yourself. That is strength at its highest level. And it's not just about what others see, it's about how you feel inside. Grace protects your peace. It allows you to rise above pettiness and negativity without letting them define you. Men respect women who don't fold under stress, who carry themselves with dignity even when things don't go their way. It tells them you are not fragile but resilient, not easily shaken but grounded. And that kind of energy commands admiration. Grace under pressure doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you've mastered the art of choosing your response. That's what separates the respected from the overlooked. So when life squeezes you, choose calm over chaos, poise over panic, dignity over drama. That's where true respect is born. Because in the end, it's not the storm that defines you, but the way you carry yourself through it. There is something profoundly powerful about a woman who is unapologetically herself. In a world that constantly pressures you to fit a mold, to conform, to perform for approval, choosing authenticity becomes an act of quiet rebellion. And it is this authenticity that draws deep respect. Men admire women who no longer feel the need to wear a mask, who are comfortable in their own skin, and who do not bend themselves out of shape just to be liked. Because when you stand in your truth, you tell the world that your worth is not dependent on anyone's applause. Approval is fleeting. It shifts with trends, moods, and opinions. One moment people love you, the next moment they criticize you. If you live chasing that approval, you'll never feel secure, and people will sense it. But authenticity is timeless. When you speak from your heart, live by your values, and act in alignment with who you truly are, you build a foundation of respect that can't be shaken. Men don't deeply respect a woman who pretends to be what she's not, just to keep the peace or win attention. They respect the woman who stands tall in her truth, even if it's not popular. Authenticity also creates trust. When you are real, people know where they stand with you. There are no games, no hidden agendas, no constant shifting of your personality depending on who is watching. That kind of consistency is rare, and rare things are always valued. Men may admire surface beauty or charm for a season, but it is the authentic spirit of a woman that commands long-term respect. When you choose authenticity over approval, you free yourself. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to meet impossible standards. You stop handing your power to other people's opinions. And in that freedom, you radiate a confidence that is magnetic. The world respects people who don't just blend in, but have the courage to stand out as themselves. So stop apologizing for being who you are. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. The greatest respect is earned when you live fully as yourself. Approval fades, but authenticity endures. And when a woman embraces her truest self, she becomes unforgettable. Respect isn't built in a single moment. It's earned through consistency. Anyone can impress others for a day or put on a show for a short while, but true character is revealed in patterns, not performances. Men deeply respect women whose actions align with their words, whose values remain steady regardless of who is watching, and who live in a way that doesn't shift with convenience. Consistency of character means you are the same person in private as you are in public, and that reliability builds trust, admiration, and lasting respect. When your character is consistent, people know what to expect from you. They don't have to wonder if you'll compromise your values when pressure arises or if your behavior will change depending on who's in the room. That reliability creates a sense of security. Men notice when a woman doesn't play games, doesn't manipulate, and doesn't say one thing while doing another. That consistency sets her apart in a world where many people compromise for short-term gain. Consistency also means you live by principles rather than emotions. Emotions are fleeting, they rise and fall depending on circumstances, but principles are steady. A woman who chooses integrity even when it costs her something, who keeps her word even when it's inconvenient, commands respect because her character cannot be bought or shaken. That kind of strength earns far more admiration than temporary charm ever could. Men may be drawn to beauty or talent at first, but what keeps their respect is consistency. When they see that your kindness is genuine, that your confidence isn't a mask, and that your standards don't waver, they know they're dealing with someone of substance. And substance is always more powerful than surface. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It means you strive to be authentic, reliable, and grounded in your values. Even when you make mistakes, consistency shows in your ability to take responsibility, to learn, and to grow without abandoning who you are. Respect is not just about big gestures. It's about the daily habits of integrity. When a woman chooses consistency over convenience, she becomes someone men not only admire, but deeply honor. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of strength. In a culture that glorifies constant noise, quick comebacks, and endless opinions, a woman who knows when to remain silent radiates a power that demands respect. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that not every argument deserves your voice, not every insult deserves your energy, and not every situation requires a reaction. Men deeply respect women who can stand firm without the need to always explain, defend, or prove themselves, because that restraint reveals a profound sense of self-control. Silence does not mean passivity. It doesn't mean you ignore what matters or tolerate what is wrong. It means you've mastered discernment, when words would add clarity and when they would only add fuel to the fire. You understand that true influence often comes from presence, not volume. A woman who doesn't rush to fill the silence with unnecessary explanations or validation shows that she is secure within herself. That kind of self-possession is magnetic. When you respond with silence instead of reacting impulsively, you shift the dynamic. You take back control of the moment. Words spoken in anger often diminish respect, but silence spoken with intention increases it. Men notice when a woman doesn't waste her energy on meaningless battles. They respect the discipline it takes to hold your peace, to let your actions speak louder than your words, and to walk away when something no longer serves your dignity. Silence also protects your power. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you are not easily provoked, people realize they cannot manipulate or control you. That quiet strength creates respect, because it shows mastery over yourself. And anyone who has mastered themselves is someone others naturally admire. A woman who understands the power of silence does not beg, chase, or over-explain. She embodies calm assurance that says, I know my worth, and I don't need to prove it with noise. And that level of restraint is unforgettable. So remember this, your silence can be louder than any words. Use it wisely, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Compassion is often misunderstood as softness, as though kindness automatically means weakness. But in truth, compassion paired with strength is one of the most commanding forces a woman can carry. Men deeply respect women who can embody warmth without losing their backbone, who can love deeply without lowering their standards, who can give generously without depleting themselves. Compassion with strength is not about letting people take advantage of you. It's about having a heart that cares while also having a spine that stands tall. There's a unique power in the balance of the two. A woman who is only strong but lacks compassion may come across as cold, distant, or untouchable. On the other hand, a woman who is compassionate without strength risks being overlooked, mistreated, or drained by those who do not value her. But when compassion and strength coexist, you become both approachable and unshakable. Men notice this balance because it is rare. They respect a woman who can offer empathy and kindness, but who also knows when to say enough. Compassion with strength means you listen to others, you care about their struggles, and you can extend grace when mistakes are made, but you don't abandon your own dignity in the process. You don't allow someone's brokenness to become an excuse for your mistreatment. You can forgive, but you don't forget the lessons. You can love, but you don't cling to what hurts you. That balance teaches men that your heart is open, but your boundaries remain firm. And that is a level of maturity that always earns respect. Think of the leaders, mothers, and mentors who command admiration. It's rarely because they were only kind or only tough. It's because they embodied both. They could nurture and challenge, embrace and discipline, comfort and correct. That duality is what makes their presence unforgettable. And for women, it's exactly this duality that compels men to treat you with deep reverence. They recognize you are not naive, nor are you hardened, you are whole. Compassion with strength also means you extend the same grace to yourself. You can be kind without being self-sacrificial. You can acknowledge your flaws without shaming yourself. You can honor your own humanity while still holding yourself to a standard of growth. Men notice when a woman doesn't tear herself down, when she speaks to herself with kindness while also pushing herself to rise higher. That inner compassion and strength become visible in how you walk, talk, and carry yourself. A compassionate yet strong woman doesn't use her softness as a mask or her toughness as armor. She understands that true respect comes from balance. She doesn't need to scream to be heard, nor does she need to shrink to be loved. She embodies a presence that says, I care, but I won't be compromised. I love, but I won't lose myself. I give, but I also guard. That presence leaves an impact on men because it is the perfect combination of nurturing and empowering. It inspires them to rise to the same standard, to be both strong and considerate, to lead with courage and humility. Compassion without strength can lead to exploitation. Strength without compassion can lead to isolation. But compassion with strength creates admiration that lasts. So carry both. Be the woman who can listen with empathy, speak with love, act with kindness, while also being firm in your standards, solid in your values, and steady in your resolve. Men will respect that combination more than anything else because it shows them you are not only strong enough to stand on your own, but also soft enough to connect with others. That is true power, and that is unforgettable. There is something undeniably magnetic about a woman who knows where she's going in life. A woman with vision does not drift aimlessly from one moment to the next, hoping someone else will give her direction or identity. Instead, she sets her eyes on something bigger, something meaningful, and she walks toward it with purpose. Men deeply respect women who live with intention, because it shows that her life is not dependent on anyone else's approval, wealth, or direction. A woman with vision doesn't wait to be chosen. She has already chosen herself and the path she wants to walk. Vision creates clarity. When you know what you want, you stop wasting time on what you don't. You no longer entertain distractions disguised as opportunities, and you no longer tolerate relationships that derail your growth. This kind of focus commands respect because it shows discipline and self-awareness. Men notice when a woman doesn't just accept whatever life throws at her, but instead moves with deliberate steps toward her own goals. She may walk with grace, but she also walks with determination. That combination is rare, and rare always earns admiration. Having a vision doesn't mean you have every detail figured out. It doesn't mean you have a perfect 5-year plan written down with no room for change. It means you carry a sense of direction, a bigger why that fuels your decisions. Maybe it's building a career, starting a business, creating art, raising a family with intention, serving a cause, or deepening your spiritual journey. Whatever the form, vision gives your life momentum, and momentum attracts respect. Men are drawn to women who have their own path because it challenges them to rise higher themselves. A woman with vision is not easily swayed by fleeting emotions or shallow attention. She is not impressed by empty promises because she is already building something real. Her worth is not determined by who notices her, but by the mission she carries inside her. That sense of purpose makes her presence powerful because she is not waiting for a man to complete her. She is inviting him to walk beside her. And that difference shifts everything. Men respect women who bring more than beauty to the table. They respect women who bring vision, drive, and passion for life. Vision also anchors you during seasons of difficulty. When challenges come, you don't fall apart because you know where you're heading. Obstacles may slow you down, but they don't stop you. That resilience is inspiring. Men notice when a woman can endure setbacks without abandoning her mission. They see her persistence and admire her tenacity. A woman with vision is not fragile. She is focused. And that focus sets her apart in a world full of distractions. Living with vision also shapes how you carry yourself daily. It influences the way you speak, the way you prioritize, the people you allow into your circle, and the way you invest your time. A woman with vision does not settle for mediocrity because she knows she is building something greater. Men deeply respect that kind of self-awareness and discipline because it shows she values her future too much to waste her present. But here's the most powerful part. Vision is contagious. When a woman has a clear sense of direction, she naturally inspires those around her. Men feel challenged to rise, to sharpen their own goals, and to step into greater versions of themselves. A woman with vision doesn't diminish anyone, she elevates the atmosphere around her. She becomes a catalyst for growth, and that is unforgettable. Respect flows naturally toward a woman who knows her path, not because she demands it, but because people instinctively honor someone who carries themselves with purpose. Men see that she cannot be swayed by empty gestures or surface-level charm because her eyes are on something higher, and that forces them to meet her at her level or step aside. So remember this: beauty may capture attention, charm may spark attraction, but vision is what sustains respect. A woman who knows who she is and where she's going is a woman who commands admiration wherever she goes. She doesn't beg for respect, she embodies it because her life is proof that she is building something greater than herself. And men, when faced with a woman like that, can only respond one way, with deep respect.